Hello and welcome. It is Friday night, and we didn't have chance for Matta to spray paint out Kevin's name and put her name instead because Kevin is not here tonight, unfortunately. But we are, and we're going to have some fun. We've got three great projects that we're going to take a look at, and wow, it's been a long week. How's everybody else's week going? It's late. I know it's late for you, Matta.
I'm alive and not on fire, so that's always a win. How about you guys?
I think long is the right word.
Yeah, definitely.
I am exhausted, but I'm happy to be here with you guys. Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks everyone for coming on. So why don't we go ahead and just jump into it? Yeah, totally Kevin Joseph down there. We'll start up on the top here. So Anthony, Stefka, if you wouldn't mind giving us, if you were hanging out at a con, those in-person things that maybe we're starting to do again, I don't know, and someone walks by your table, what would you say to them besides, hey, you, do you like comics? What would you say to them to get them interested in your project?
So I would foremost like to say Found is inspired by things like D&D and Cowboy Bebop, Saga, X-Men. We pull from like a bit of things, but I feel like if you like any of those things, you would like Found.
Okay.
Yeah. Found is a space fantasy series. It's about identity and destiny and found family. Yeah. I feel like that's the short and sweet of it.
All right, awesome. All right, we'll move around again. Damien, what would you say to grab the attention of those very finicky con-goers that we've all seen before?
Absolutely. Well, just like they said, my story as well is a huge sci-fi story. Well, it's a smaller scale, but it's pretty huge. But in a nutshell, it is Radiant Black or Power Rangers meets God of War. It's a simple story with, hopefully, if I write it well, very complex story. I mean, characters, very complex characters.
All right, awesome. And now we are to our temporary co-host, who's been here several times, who has an awesome project with great art.
Thank you.
And so, Matta, tell us about Sacrimony.
I would say to people, do you want to watch dysfunctional families and incredibly shitty gods try to go about their day?
Nice.
Fantastic.
Straight to the point.
We do want to see that. And then you've also got another one that I really love. It's a story about life, love, and death in no particular order.
Yes, that is it.
I've loved
That's
that one since
tagline.
I think was that your first campaign?
Yeah, I think I joined the Explain Yourselfness in the second campaign, but I'm pretty sure you had backed the first campaign as well. So
yeah, I'm
and
a fan.
we did the mastermind thingy also. So we
That's right. Yeah.
We go way back. We go way back.
We do. We're like this. Totally like that.
Damn right.
Well, all right. Tell you what, let's go ahead and jump into Sacrimony, if that's all right. And
sure.
We'll take a look. So can you perhaps share your screen for me?
I can. Just make sure all of the tabs are closed.
That's right. We had the safety discussion earlier.
Yes, we did. I appreciate that. Let's see which.
Present down at the bottom.
Yes. It's like, oh, I have two monitors also, so it's like, do you want to share from this other monitor? Yeah, let's allow this.
There we go.
Did it work?
It did.
All right. Yes. So this is my campaign. It is for Sacrimony 1 through 5 because I've been at this for a while. And oh yay, I got 116. Last I checked, I was at 114. So putting a picture of my cat and saying it's his birthday and that he wants you to back Sacrimony up on the internet totally worked.
There you
Amazing.
Take notes.
Write that down.
Yeah, cat pictures, dudes. It works. Like if it's not even your cat, just put someone else's cat. I promise you, it'll work.
I'm a dog person, so sorry.
Oh, dogs are too. People love animals. Put like a fucking cockatiel. People go for it.
You do a lot of dog walking, so we can kind of work through a whole wheelhouse right
It's
now.
like renting a dog, but getting paid to rent a dog. It's amazing.
You got it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes. And it does double duty because then you can put their pictures and be like, this dog wants you to back my campaign. You know? Working while you're working. Anyway, so yep, this is my campaign. It is a fantasy drama about love, life, and death in no particular order. And it's the story of a single immigrant mom who is trying to live a normal life with her demon-winged daughter who mysteriously rose from the dead.
Nice. That can't get complicated, right?
Of course not.
That sounds incredible.
Pretty common family dynamics.
Right. Totally not dysfunctional. Nothing's gonna go wrong there. I got all my add-ons, my fancy covers. What do I want to call attention to here? Oh, I got to get rid of this early bird thing. It expired a while ago and I still have it. So yeah, I mean, the premise is like Kajada's dead, but now she's alive again. So what's the catch? Because there's always a catch. And she has no memory of her past, no idea why she has magical powers, or why she has demon wings that she has to hide from society. And her mom is the only one who can kind of sort of answer that, but like she would rather not because she just wants to like, you know, flee the past as far as possible or pretend that nothing weird happened and try to live a normal life. But I mean, come on, their lives are not going to be normal. So yeah, it's a campaign for books 1 through 5. Like I said, you can get all 5 books in the thing. For like physical books, I'm doing them for like 23 because I really want people to just get into the goddamn series. Like, it's so hard to get people to read things at this point because they're like, oh, it's 5 books, it's gonna be a lot of money, you know. So I'm trying to keep like the point of entry really low for them so that they just like get into it and get through like this first story arc, which is like super important. So you get the all-encompassing like what the fuckery that Sacrimony is.
It's a good call.
Yes, and actually, Mr. Real Actual Kevin Joseph gave me a very nice pull quote that was, a world filled with gods and magical races that is able to switch from silly fun to sharp social commentary with a deftness rarely seen. And I was like, wow, that is giving me a lot of fucking credit, you guys. I appreciate that.
Kevin's here still in spirit. Thanks,
He is. He's always here. So I got my covers here, which I did a chrome holofoil for this one that I'm looking forward to printing. There's a standard one. And I kind of do these like sexy, silly ones just because they're ridiculous and they're also fun to draw.
How's the chrome holofoil going? I mean, you've got it all, I guess, the art done for it, but have you priced it out, and how's that working out?
Yeah, I priced it out already. I got quotes from 2 different places, so depending on like how many books I get total, I'll pick the place afterwards. But like, it's all pretty reasonable, and like I priced it at 25, I believe, which I have no idea if that's a good price or not. But people are buying it, so I'm like, yay!
Good job.
25 or 30? I think I did 30. Let's find out. You know what? It's like once I wrote down all of my tiers and stuff, like it just completely left my head. I'm like, I don't have to think about this anymore. Oh yeah, exactly. It's 30.
It's 30. Nice.
But it's worth it because it's shiny and it's gorgeous, and that picture took me like 3 days to work on because I wrote it and I did all the art, I should say, and the lettering and the coloring. But I hired a flatter this time.
Oh. Okay,
so, yeah,
nice. So this is the first time you haven't done everything yourself, right?
Yeah, shout out to Nikki, who's like saving my life right now. She's the real MVP here.
Nice. So with Sacrimony, I know we ask you this every time, and I'm gonna ask again because I'm sure we have new watchers at this point. We know I know it's going to run for a long time. So what would be a long time, and how long would you want it to run? And is there a collection coming soon? So yeah, in total, I'm estimating it can be anywhere between like 50 to 70 issues because like I know where I want to go, but it takes me a lot longer to get there than I actually thought. Because for some reason, even with this first story arc, I was like, yeah, I can probably just wrap this up in an issue. And it's like, nope, wait, this turned out to be 5 issues. So like, say 50 to 70, but maybe it's going to be 150. And like my ghost is still going to be working on it 100 years later. Who knows? I hear ya. I
mean, what it's like, she went out doing what she loved, and then she did it in the afterlife.
Kept doing it.
How long have you had this story in your brain? Because I know you've had like 50-ish issues in your brain. So how long have you been thinking about it?
since I was 12, and I'm currently 37, so I'm sure someone here can do some math.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
So yeah, I will actually do a collection after book 5, which I'm looking forward to doing. Because book 5, like I said, it wraps up like the first story arc, so it'd be nice to have it in like a big old thick like 150-ish. It's gonna be like 160, just like with this collected story alone. And then I want to add like extra things like little Q&A comics and an encyclopedia, because like as you can tell, the world building in this is ridiculous. There's so many like custom locations, custom races. I made up my own gods. Like I had a lot of time. I had 25 years to think about this, basically.
You did the math. You did the math.
Amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I want to make like the trade paperback like this whole big experience, or like a celebration of like how far the story has come, and just like give people as much information as possible to make them want to read more. And that's actually going to drop in February. So, Will, the schedule.
We got you down.
Yes, awesome. That's a threat.
Well, okay. Question for you, and actually for everybody, on the subject of collections, because I'm actually coming to a point where I'm going to be doing a collection, and I know I need a trade paperback because that's the way I'm going to be able to get people in, after the single issues have sold. But I want a big old oversized hardcover with all the bells and all the whistles and everything. So what are your thoughts on that? How are you going to approach that?
Any of y'all want to go, or it was a question for everybody? I was being polite.
I would.
Something that I think about constantly, but we're on number 1, so we're ways away. So the world will be so different by then. It's kind of like we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, gotcha.
But we
Valid.
would love to do that too. We think about the beautiful collection edition all the time, but we personally just love paperbacks anyway, so we know that that's like a definitive we'll be doing every arc. Yeah.
Gotcha. Damien, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, same thing. It's in the back of my mind, but at the same time, like I was just so thankful for having the first issue of Worlds Away funded. That that the single issues at the moment are my main focus.
Sole focus, yeah.
But like I said, in the back of my mind, I cannot wait to make that first volume. When I'll say Worlds Away Volume 1, collects issues 1 through 4. I cannot wait for that day to actually just have that first trade collected.
Imagining it like sitting on your own shelf.
Yep.
I think that's like so exciting.
Spine, seeing the spine there with your book name and your name on it, and like number 1, and then you get number 2 next to it, and that's incredibly exciting.
It is, absolutely. I cannot wait.
Absolutely. Well, so Matt, what about you? What are you planning to do? I mean, it's February. We know you have plans now.
I got plans. I got so many plans. But honestly, I would love to do a hardcover, but like the price point is a little scary, and I don't know how many people would go for that. But I was thinking maybe like it's ambitious as hell and probably incredibly stupid, but having like 2 separate versions of Sacrimony Chapter 1, where I have like a cheaper paperback version for people who just want to like quickly jump into the story and just get through like the basics, and then having this other like super amazing like collector's edition hardcover thing with like all of the expanded pages and Q&A things and encyclopedia things, because I imagine that's going to take up like maybe another like 30 to 40 pages. And having like I might just like I want to do the hardcover maybe as just like a Kickstarter exclusive for that campaign, just to like have people get it and be like, all right, I'm not gonna have a box of like 1,000 hardcovers sitting in my like fucking shopping cart sized room.
Yeah.
Like storing floppies is hell enough. Like I can't even fathom. Like I'd be sleeping on those books.
Well, they would be good for propping up a mattress, right? I mean, I've got a bunch of books upstairs too, so I know exactly.
You know what? I might have to do that. That's a great idea. It'll keep them nice and flat too, I guess. But well, yeah. Continue. Go ahead.
So I was talking to Kevin about this, and I really love, and we've got hey Shawnee, Hey,
Hi.
Joey.
Hey.
What's up, Joey?
We were talking about this,
Don't
and
forget about it.
a Kickstarter for a single issue is kind of the equivalent of a really limited print run. So it's a limited kind of collector's edition in and of itself. So I was kind of leaning toward the limited collector's edition of a hardcover, and I love the White Ash hardcover. It's just freaking beautiful. I mean, Charlie and Connor and the whole and Finn did a tremendous job on that. It's just beautiful.
Oh my God. I'm not fortunate enough to own that.
Oh, okay. I've got it up on the shelf. I'll have to show it to you. I'll show it to you next time we're on. Okay.
Yeah, cool. As I'm doing my own hardcover, like I'm gonna be taking notes.
Right.
But there is that. So there's that limited kind of collectability of a hardcover. But then there's the I want to sell books, so I need a jumping on point, so I need a trade. And the problem is if you do an oversized hardcover and your trade is normal size, you don't get the benefits of the split binding. So you can't print all of them at once because your hardcover's different size than your trade. I'm like, so
shit is complicated. It's more complicated than it needs to be. I don't like this.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for the digression. Let's jump back to Sacrimony. So if somebody was coming in here cold and you wanted to point them toward either like one of the catch-up tiers, what's kind of the tier that you would point those people to, and then what's the tier that you've been either most surprised by or the one that you kind of love the most?
Oh, you know what the answer to that is already going to be because you probably saw my thing on Twitter about it. But I mean, for the catch-up tiers, I try to keep them reasonable. Like, there's the digital catch-up tier. You get 5 books for $15 because I mean they're PDFs. It costs me like nothing to distribute them, and like I get so salty when I see people are like, oh, catch-up tier books 1 through 3 digital $30. I'm like, I want to read this, but you don't want me to read this, do you? Like, come on, guys. It's just PDFs.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there's the digital catch-up. There's also, I can scroll down to my tiers here also with the things, and it'll look a lot better than me just scrolling through. You can tell I've done this before, right? Yeah, so there's a physical catch-up bundle, which I priced at $23 for 5 books, which I still think is a hell of a deal because
that's awesome. Yeah.
Because all right. I mean, I did my reprint campaign for Sacrimony 1, so like those are paid for. I have Sacrimony 2s sitting around that are also paid for, and 3 and 4 and whatever that were paid for by previous campaigns. So I wanted to once again keep the barrier of entry low so that people just like get into the story. So
has that been really popular for you so far?
Let's find out because I'm right here. we got 2 backers, but I also did like a super duper early bird special where I sold all 5 for $15 because I was just like, you guys, please read the story. Like, I hate sounding like I'm tooting my horn, but it's like it's one of the most underrated indie comics right now. Like, it's so good. Like, I need you guys to read this like yesterday to realize like what a gem of a story this is.
And I'm gonna make you blush, but the art is gorgeous. I mean, it's awesome. Your reprint of #1 with the Red Sonja cover is just beautiful too.
Thank you.
That's the one I got. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep. Because it's a good cover. But yeah. So the tier that makes me happy when people buy it is just when they go for this Naughty Nun cover. Like, there are people who have just picked this and nothing else. Or I also have a bundle with the Naughty Nun cover and like the standard and the magnet set. But it's like, yes, you guys know why you're here. You know what you came here for. And it makes my day because I really like how it came out. Like, it's sexy, it's kind of silly, but also it's like, look at the detail on this. Like, somebody please buy this. I worked so hard on it.
Absolutely. Well, all right. Is there anything else you want to mention before we move on to the next project? Or...
aside from saying again, please read Sacrimony because it's underrated and it's fabulous. And it's like, I know people probably see like the super pretty art and they're like, oh, like what a fucking pretentious looking comic. But like, no, if you know me, like I live in the Bronx across from like a literal crack house. There is not a pretentious bone in my body. I promise you. Like you're getting lowbrow toilet humor with like pretty art.
Nice. Very nice. Hey, that needs to be a pull quote. Lowbrow.
You're getting lowbrow toilet humor with pretty art. Quote by Totally Kevin Joseph.
That's right. Totally Kevin Joseph said that.
All right.
Well,
Enough
awesome.
about me. What about you guys?
All right. I'm going to. You can go ahead and stop sharing if you want.
I
will
could.
remove
Yeah,
that.
I will. How do I stop that?
And
There we go.
Damien, we will come back around to your project. Oh,
Sure.
and by the way, before we jump into that, Shawnee said thanks for keeping your pricing for the ketchups within the realm of reasonableness, and she's happy to take advantage of it. So
thank you,
awesome.
Shawnee. You're the real MVP here.
All right, let's get the banner for. There we go. There is Worlds Away, and let's go ahead and can you share your screen? If not, I can share, and you can talk me through it.
I believe I can.
All right. And I know we were talking about the nice blurring effect that you've got going on. It's awesome. So you're doing something right, and I'm betting that when we share this, it won't be blurry, and it's not. There we go.
Excellent.
There it is.
Nice. All right. So let's take a deep dive into it. Let's go into the story. Let's talk about the team. Because we'd love to make sure that everybody on the team gets credit for all their hard work. Because
absolutely.
These things don't happen without letterers or colorists or inkers and all those things. So yeah, it's great. So let's take us into it, sir.
Yeah, man. This is Worlds Away. We're on issue 2. Back in June-ish, I think it was June. I actually had the first campaign for Worlds Away #1, and it kind of exceeded all of my expectations.
I love to hear that.
But
that's great.
like, it was great. I was absolutely floored by the response I got from it. But I do want to give a shout out, just like you were saying, to the entire creative team, because I literally couldn't have done this without them. So shout out to Christian Prunesti, who's the series artist, Luana Christini, who's the colorist, Reed Hinckley Barnes. He does a lot of books, indie books. He's the letterer, Devin R. Scott, who is the editor. And shout out to Joey, who just commented. I'm working with him and Brian Hawkins and Patrick Foreman on another story that he kind of announced earlier today. But yeah, Worlds Away is a sci-fi fantasy action story. It's in a nutshell, I pitch it as Radiant Black meets God of War. If you guys ever played the 2008 version of God of War, but it's like I said, in a nutshell, it's a simple story, a mother and a daughter with this high-tech armor. You can see it right here, this high-tech armor, like an Iron Man or Power Rangers type armor. They crash land on an alien planet, but it's not like a sci-fi alien planet. It's kind of a mystical, magical kind of alien planet. Because I really wanted to play with the contrast between sci-fi and fantasy. So that's where they end up. And the whole thing is that the mother and daughter, they do not get along. The biggest thing, that's the whole crux of the story. They kind of hate each other. Well, they don't hate each other, but they don't get along at all. But the mother, Serenity, she would literally do anything to keep her daughter safe, her 11-year-old daughter safe. But along the way, they meet some formidable foes. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a sci-fi fantasy action story, and you'll see a lot of that. You can see it by the banner that I chose. But yeah, let's go ahead. I guess we can go down and share a little bit more.
Are you doing multiple covers then?
Yeah, I have actually 3. Let me see. Can you guys? Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah, we're seeing everything you're showing on your screen right now.
So this is the main cover. This is by Christian Prunesti, and this is the first one. I actually had Sunando C. I don't know if you guys read End After End from Vault Comics. I actually reached out to Sunando He's the artist on End After End, and he's a great dude. He's like, I reached out to him, and he was so friendly, he was so kind, he was so respectful and everything. And I couldn't ask for like a better collaboration. He was great, and he actually got me cover B, this cover right here.
That is so touching.
Yeah,
It's a really nice cover.
Thank you. So I tried to kind of hit all the spectrums when I did all the covers. So the first one is pretty much what you're going to get. There's a big action scene between this mystical, magical foe and this high-tech sci-fi type protagonist. But along the way, you know, there's a lot of touching moments. I try to make, like I said before, the crux of the story is the relationship between the mother and the daughter. But in the previous issue, spoiler alert, the father passed away. And the daughter, Mackenzie, would rather be with her dad. She definitely prefers her dad. And then, you know, it's kind of like it's a very extreme version of my life. You know, obviously, I don't hate my mother or my dad or my dad, but it's just like it's kind of like shout outs to my entire family. But that's the second cover. I wanted to really show that emotional side. And then here's the big action cover that it's completely contrasting the second cover. But it's this huge one. It's a huge battle that happens at the beginning of the issue. And this is by Samuel Owunze. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Magic Powder. He does the covers for Magic Powder by Jeff Schiller. I reached out to him. Great dude as well. He was so kind. So, you know, so great to collaborate with. I told him, hey, do whatever you wanted. I gave him the first issue and I said, do whatever you wanted. And he gave me this. And I was like, dude, that's perfect.
That's amazing.
But he's a good dude too. And shout out to Samuel Owunze. But those are the three covers. They're all, I think cover A is $14 and cover B and C are $15 plus shipping.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
So what's kind of the genesis of the story? How long have you been working on this?
Okay. So the story kind of started off with a couple years ago. I had a Kickstarter, and that Kickstarter, my first one, it was called Imaginary. It didn't get funded. I was like,
I've been there, man. I've been there.
It's a rite of passage, I think.
That's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, but it was a great learning experience. That's what I tell everybody that I talk to about. It was a great learning experience. But after that failed, you know, I kind of put everything on the back burner. But I had this story brewing in my mind. And then when I won the Mad Cave Studios Talent Search last year, I said,
congratulations.
You know thank you.
Congratulations.
I said, fuck it. If this comic book thing is going to happen, then it's going to happen right now. So, you know, I had $3,000 in my savings. I contacted everybody. I reached out to a bunch of artists and I put everything into issue 1 and, you know, it all happened. So I'm just going forward with it. But yeah, pretty much it started off like I wanted to tell a story about my family. My mom is a huge inspiration on my life. She's a little Asian lady. She's Filipino. I'm half Filipino. But even though she's this 4'11" lady, she would literally do anything to protect me, to keep me safe. I'm 31 years old, you guys, and she still texts me to this day, asking if I ate or if I need money and everything. So this story is kind of a shout out to her, just showing what Serenity, the mother in this story, is willing to do to keep her daughter or her family members safe. And the answer to that is literally anything. She would do literally anything to keep them safe.
This is the second issue. How long do you see the series running? Is it finite? Is it just until they pry it from your cold dead fingers kind of thing? Or
I have the first 4 or 5 issues, the first arc planned, and there will be a definitive end to the first arc. And if I'm lucky enough, I'm crossing my fingers. If I'm lucky enough to keep telling this story with Christian and Luana and Reed and Devin, if I'm lucky enough to have them on the team, then yeah, I have a bunch more stories to tell. But if not, I'll still be happy to just put these first four issues out. It came from my heart, you guys. So I'm truly blessed and truly lucky to have the supporters that I have. So shout out to everyone who's backed the book. Shout out to everyone who's watching us right now. I truly appreciate it.
All right. So what if you have some rewards you want to focus on? Show us the project and show it all off, because
absolutely,
we all work hard on these things, right? Let's
yeah,
show it
man.
off.
All right. So here are just a few more of the preview pages for issue 2. The ones that I just showed were from issue 1. It's kind of a recap. But here's some stuff that I recently got in the past month from Luana and Christian, the series artist. There is a lot of action in here. I wanted to show off the action in here to show how brutal it can get. I literally, when I wrote this panel, all I said was Serenity hits the witch with a right hook. And then Christian turned it into this masterpiece that I turned into the banner. So shout out to Christian for making it even better than I imagined.
Nice.
But here comes some of the other rewards. One of the rewards that I'm very, very excited for is growing up, I was a huge fan. My brother got me into basketball cards. I was into Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I wanted to kind of pay homage to that with this one right here. So if you back any physical reward, that means the cover A, cover B, or cover C, or any of those after that, any of the physical rewards, you have a chance to win one of these holographic foil cards right here. And this was actually designed. Shout out to Pete Collins, Pack Illustrations, who designed this card for me.
Cool.
He's a great dude as well. Kind, friendly. I can't recommend him enough. If you guys have any card needs, he's the guy to go to. But if you back any of the physical rewards, you have a chance to get a holographic or a foil version of the Serenity card. But this card is also available with certain rewards as well. So here's a picture of the foil version. Regular versions are available, but if you do back a physical one, you can get that. Let me show you the catch-up. So I do have some catch-up ones as well. If you are one of the new people who are showing up, again, thank you for actually just considering backing our project. The first 2 issues are available for $20. It is kind of a lot, but I have to pay these people. I have to pay Christian and Luana and Reed and Devin and everybody. So it is kind of, yeah, I understand. But I'm a teacher, you guys. So
that explains everything. You don't even need to apologize anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
But yeah, so we do have the physical catch up, which is cover A and cover B, or cover A for issue 1 and 2. But then I also have the deluxe version with some extra stuff along with it. If I can show you that, which is a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to share. I have the cover 1 and cover 2, the PDF. I have a mini print. I have the Serenity trading card. I have a signed version of a poster that I got that I have printed. A Worlds Away #1 sticker. I have the original soundtrack. Each issue actually has music to it. So I have that for download. And then I have the script as well for the Worlds Away physical catch-up deluxe. And that's going to be $34. I know it's pushing it, but I'm trying to put as much cool stuff as I can in there as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And also if you want to, there goes my other Worlds Away shirt. Sorry, that's me.
Nice.
Also, if you do want to be a part of the story, you can create a character with plus everything else along every previous reward, but you'll also get to create a character that shows up in issue 3.
I wish I had money. Oh my God. Please. I picked the wrong profession.
Like I said, Christian is a great artist, and we did the same thing for create a character for the first one. And he created people sent in their pictures, and Christian is absolutely knocking it out of the park with the new characters that everyone bought from the first issue.
So do people like does that tier sell out or anything? Like how have you found it's been selling?
There was the first time it sold out pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie. So
Amazing. I
only
love
had,
to
like,
hear it.
4 or 5. I think I have 1 left of this one. There was 4 or 5 on this one. I think
Nice.
there's like 1 or 2 left for this one. But yeah, it's you know, it was always something that I wanted to do when I backed Kickstarters. And I did it like once or twice, but it is kind of expensive. So I
It
understand.
breaks the bank. But yeah, that's an amazing idea. That's very cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's you know, I don't want to take too much time, but yep, that's worlds away. Hopefully it piqued your interest. Thank you guys for listening to me. I truly appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for being on with us. And it looks like an amazing project. And I'm kind of taking a sabbatical, but English teacher for junior college. So fist bump there for fellow English teacher. But there we go. Okay.
Yeah, man. We all teach, English teachers all teach the same thing, kind of. Is just to get the text or the literature gets a little bit more difficult.
Mm-hmm. And you got to use those commas, right?
Yep.
Well, all right. Thanks for showing us that, and
Absolutely.
I think we've made it around to the rest of the creators here tonight, and we've got Anthony and Mastefka, who are going to talk about Found. So let's take a deep dive into that. If you guys could share your screen, I'll put that on the.
You should take over that. Should be you.
And if we have problems, don't worry. I can also share it. It'll just be me kind of randomly scrolling, which I'm sure everyone appreciates.
That could be fun. You just go to a random spot and be like, all right, explain this right now.
What's this? Show me. Explain yourself. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the name of the show, right?
Exactly.
We're clicking through the millions of things that need clicked after you click present.
Yeah, it's confusing, right? It's not as straightforward as it should be.
Click the lock to make
my
changes.
word.
Put in your password. Give me your fingerprint.
What's your mother's maiden name? Give us your
Yeah.
social security number.
We need a note from your mom and a DNA sample. So, okay.
Telling me I have to quit and reopen it to do
Yeah,
that.
it's telling us that we would have to quit and read.
Don't worry about it. I will open it up.
All right, be
and-
prepared to explain random things.
Yeah,
That's right.
we'll test you with this.
All right. It is Found, a Space Odyssey. So let's do that one.
We had 2 people in one
Share.
before here.
All right. Yeah, we've done that before. Okay. Does it look like? Can you see everything? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So let's take a look. Let's take a deep dive into the project. So let's talk about the creative team and the genesis of the story. Let's talk about it.
Well, the creative team is just us. I'm the writer,
Hi.
and he does everything that's not the writing.
Excellent.
Yeah. So the genesis of it, I'd say we've been working in this world for years. It's a world that we created ourselves.
Not 25 years, but
Yeah, not 25. But
I spent a lot of those years slacking off, so it's okay.
balances out somewhere. Yeah. We just kind of started making our own world one day, just to kind of create the things that we wanted to be able to tell the stories about, the things we want to see. We just kind of kept it to ourselves for a while and just played around with it. And it was originally, the idea was a collection of one-shots about a few different characters, and we liked them all too much. They just deserved more of a story. So we kind of just, from there, kind of really fleshed out that world even further. For the beginning specifically, actually has a pretty unique genesis, I'd say. Oh yeah, this cover we're on right now.
It's a good cover.
Yeah, it's a variant cover. Our friend Sebastian Parise. He's an amazing artist. I've loved his work forever. But I've always I'd say the last few years I teased him there will be a reason for us to work on something someday. So he was the first person I thought of when it was what other artists can we get on here? typing it in.
You want me to go through the preview pages a little bit, and you can
Yeah.
with us?
That'd be
Okay.
great. Yeah. So our story. Well, this is a great example too. We did this original draft. We submitted this for a grant a few months ago. We were pretty last minute and it was kind of like a rush thing. So even what he's done here from this improved work in progress here, I saw the rest of this page today, and it's just worlds improved, really. So that's part of the reason we're doing this too.
There's actually a background.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we've
Backgrounds are
changed
hard.
his design a lot too. So, but we like I said before with like dog walking, we purposely have our lives kind of in a very flexible way, so we can kind of free up the creative time if we can support ourselves properly. So part of this is being able to kind of revisit everything too and kind of put it in its modern version. Do you want to talk about the story a little?
Yeah.
Instead, just
yeah.
the preview pages.
Yeah, well, when it comes to like the preview pages, it's interesting because we found like so many different places to start. We kept thinking to ourselves that we knew where the start was, and then we were like, no, let's start it like a little bit before that actually. So this is kind of finally like the spot where we found it, and it's still kind of the beginning is going to like establish where our main character Dugan is for his story. It was kind of important for us to really like get a lot of the sentimental kind of strong connection that he has with his mentor across off the bat, because it really impacts so much of what he does afterwards too.
Yeah, so he loses his mentor, and these two people on the screen with him there that you have are his two friends back at like where he's from that he goes back to after this happens. So we're kind of playing with the mentor relationship a lot, but it's also found family in terms of like going back to these other people too. So we're playing with a lot of different dynamics in that way in terms of what like found family can mean and whatnot.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Well, do you want me to move down to the pledge levels at this point, or so we can talk about some of the rewards? Okay.
Our reward section isn't as pretty as both of your guys. We've learned a lot since launching this campaign for what to do better with the next one. But we also kept things pretty simple on purpose. We didn't want to, offer too much on our first campaign. We wanted to keep it to the basics with like what you kind of see on campaigns like this usually.
That's actually really smart. I made a lot of mistakes on my first campaign where I'm just like, I'm gonna give a bunch of shit away for free, and then I'm like, oh no, now I have to pay for all this shit. So that's actually a very smart move.
We had a lot of ideas, and we were like, no, we can't do this. We're too excited about it, but this is just something to look forward to for a later campaign.
It was definitely
very good
that
idea.
we both came from like retail backgrounds to a degree. We like ended up doing like an Etsy shop for a while and stuff. So it was like all of these things kind of helped prepare us for what Kickstarter was going to be.
Like the math of it all.
But you're like, as long as we can make sure that we can actually afford all of this stuff, if it happens, then like I'm happy and it's a success if we succeed.
It's funny because I worked retail for like 2/3 of my life, and like I've set up Etsy shops and I've learned absolutely nothing from it clearly. So like props to you guys.
It's how much stress we've gone through by trying to figure that stuff out.
I can imagine.
Can you guys talk about the guy with the big hammer? That was the first thing that I noticed, and I think I saw a sticker. I think you guys have a sticker of the giant hammer too.
Yeah, we have a sticker of the three of them on this cover. Well, the three of them, like the hammer's a person, but
yeah, the hammer has its own separate sticker, doesn't it? That is pretty dope. I love it.
Yeah.
So
there it is.
Yes.
Darren on the left, the dwarf, is the mentor that Dugan on the right loses. We kind of really wanted to play with that dynamic a lot too, with the fact that he's an older person losing the person that taught him. It's not, like the team going through his journey still with his mentor. It's someone that's kind of been past those lessons already and is his own person already more in that way. The hammer itself, do you want to talk about the hammer, the dwarves?
No, you talk about it. You can do better with it.
So the hammer, funny enough, I mean, we were just talking to somebody else about this today and it came up, but Thor is the first thing that always comes up when people see our hammer, but it's more rooted in like classic fantasy and like mithril, things like that. push here is trying to find ways to reshape like classic fantasy things into a space sci-fi setting. So just precious metals for dwarves, mithril specifically, we've kind of created like a unique bond that dwarves have with it that's just beyond just like mining for it.
Were you guys like influenced by Final Fantasy any?
Yeah, so
Final Fantasy, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
that was a huge
even
Final
Bard,
Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, 9,
For sure.
10.
Gigantic
The reason that,
wins for life.
the reason that mithril keeps coming up too is because the black top of the hammer is mithril in our story.
Mhm.
We kind of went with sort of almost an opposite of, you know, the sort of pristine look that it usually has, and we said let's just make it like the purely black thing with like a white outline to it that would give it like an interesting look.
I love it.
Um,
Like it's such a good decision. It has so much like presence there instead of being this like, you know, frou-frou shiny sort of thing. Like, you know that's gonna fuck you up.
Right.
Exactly.
Gives a lot of weight to it.
Yeah.
We turmoiled over these things for months, so it's great to hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots
Well,
of good
black
decisions
with the
being
white
made between
outline.
you guys. So
Yeah.
Thanks. Black with the white outline actually is kind of present in a lot of like the, you know, the title, all of our banners and stuff on here and everything.
That's a really
this-
cool page too. That's a really
Thank
One
you.
of the most important ones for us is this page
It,
because it's kind
it
of
hurt to make.
our first 8 pages. Kind of we make it clear that Darren dies, but it's kind of a rushed moment on purpose.
I mean, we state it in our catch line.
Yeah,
Like.
hopefully. I mean, we.
So it's not a
page.
spoiler, okay?
Yeah,
Right,
We
right.
actually didn't have this page on our campaign at first, and we were like, we already talked about it. Why are we,
We like
not
said
throwing
this
on
happens.
here?
Yeah.
so yes, good choice to add it as well. It definitely shows like how powerful the loss is too.
Mhm.
That was kind of one of the big things that we wanted to get across because his relationship with Darren is so important, and we have such little space that he's actually with him. In the beginning, we wanted to be able to drive that point like right off the bat, so that was established early on.
I'd say too, just because they have such an extensive like history between them, and we're kind of jumping you right past that. Our cover A, the two of them fighting these creatures. Our first page references like their last mission, like the last thing that they did together. It's kind of meant to be a call to this. So we're kind of like trying to find any way we can too to always kind of call back to that early on enough to
Question,
see
so-
their dynamics. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
go ahead.
are you gonna do any like flashbacks later on to show like, you know, how that developed? Yes, I'm
Oh
here
yeah,
for that.
for sure, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, we definitely won't only see Darren at this beginning. He's too important to not come back up.
Yeah, he's on the
Um,
covers. Like, come on, you got to talk about it
Right.
more, right?
You know, one of the toughest, craziest parts too about like doing the art of Darren is that he is, in my mind, such a jovial character. He's always smiling and laughing about stuff. One of my favorite panels is the very first panel because it's him laughing, holding like a drumstick and chopsticks, just cracking up.
It's not here, but I did
Yeah,
use it in a couple updates I've used.
But
it.
I guess
But
we'll
that-
just have to back the campaign to see it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
know?
That's what you have to do.
Uh-huh.
That page though with Darren in the middle is like the
This one
first
right here.
page that I did. No, this one was the first one that like I really did without Darren smiling, and it made me like really
Ooh,
realize like how
yeah,
much
that
it hurt.
hurts.
You know?
Because we weren't sure when he would die, but we knew it would happen. So to suddenly make it the beginning of our story was kind of like, all right, well, we're just gonna jump right into this. So yeah, there's a whole thing with Found where Darren's last name is Found too. It's just a call to that, but having the colon there, each of our characters is kind of exploring themselves, their destiny, their identity, and what like found family means to them, the people in their life that matter to them. So we picked Dugan as like the first character to kind of highlight because he kind of sits in the middle of a lot of that. But at the same time, it's not the kind of story where it's like a found family that will always revolve around Dugan. It's more like a web of people that we'll be pulling through as these issues go on, and just how everything develops and how they impact each other in the world and everything.
The universe.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The universe.
Yeah, I was going to say too, I like that all of us here are doing something more ongoing. One of the first things we heard before we really pushed to do this on Kickstarter was to start small, and we always knew we wanted this to be bigger. So it's just kind of nice to see other people trying to do the same thing and actually succeeding with it. So
It's an ambitious start, but I feel like we have that ambition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no totally Kevin Joseph, and I'm not going to do 150 issues of my series, but 20's enough, I think, for now.
Yeah, so we have like a few certain like milestones in place where we can kind of wrap things up with a bow on it that actually can be concluded for certain characters and actually be like a full story for everyone. But we see it as like 3 big parts, so we hope that we can get through all that
With opportunities for prequels, sequels, et cetera, et cetera.
The world of sound, like you said, from the afterlife. That's our plan.
Yeah.
Excellent. Love it.
Well, all right. Anything else you want to point out on the campaign while we're taking a look at it, or?
I feel like we didn't really say enough about like our rewards and our tiers and stuff, but
okay.
Yeah,
they're pretty straightforward. I mean, we wanted to keep things cheaper enough too. Again, with the Etsy shop and things, we know shipping can suck, so we rolled shipping into everything and kind of spread it across a bit. We did a lot of math for that. But we just we feel like it's pretty much the basics, but then we get up here to like the $50 tier where you were at with like a custom character sketch.
Mm-hmm.
We too are having a lot of success with the drawing yourself in. It's been a great mix of total strangers and our best friends, so that's a lot of fun too. We get to kind of play in both areas there. We actually had one of the previous podcasts we did with Cody for Keeping It Geekly. One of his friends was on and paid to get Cody drawn in, so we'll be doing that actually.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Great.
We thought that was a lot of fun. So we're like, great, the total stranger is getting our host of the podcast drawn in. I was like, it's such an honor, really. But
yeah,
one of the cool things that we're excited about including that we actually don't have fully worked yet because we're waiting on someone to get back to us about it, is going to be 3 drinks recipes that we're going to have as a bookmark because we have a friend that does.
He's a bartender.
He's
opened a bar. He's a pretty big bartender around the Cleveland area out here where we are. But we kind of commissioned him to come up with the recipes with us, and we kind of figured that's a nice little touch on a bookmark because we love bookmarks, but we know a lot of people have a lot of interesting opinions about bookmarks and Kickstarter campaigns. So we were like, let's give them something to want to keep around.
Nice. Well, all right. Excellent. I think, let's see, I'm checking the comments now. Joey's, yeah, there you go, Joey. Yeah, you're right. And, all right, I think we've made it through most of the projects. Tell you what, let's do one more run through of the quick elevator pitch, if that's all right for everyone. And we're on your project, so give me the elevator pitch for Found.
Found is a space fantasy series about identity, destiny, and found family. It's about a group of people going on their individual journeys, exploring themselves and how they impact change in their world.
Nice. All right, Damien.
Worlds Away, #1 and #2. It's a sci-fi fantasy action story. It's Radiant Black meets God of War. It's about a mother and a daughter trying to keep her daughter safe, even if it's at the expense of their relationship.
Cool. All right. Awesome. And finally, totally Kevin Joseph. I mean, Madam.
Sacrimony is the story of a teenage girl named Kajad who died, but she got better. But as with all mysterious resurrection stories, there's a catch. She has no memory of her past, no idea why she has magical powers, or why she has demon wings that she has to hide from society.
Nice.
And it's not pretentious, I promise.
Remember, we have a quote about that, right?
Yes, from totally Kevin Joseph.
That's right. All right. So I think we are now to the point where we're gonna talk. This is where it goes totally off the rails if it hasn't yet. So, if you want to stay and hang with Matta and I, we're gonna talk about the campaigns that have been on the show previously that are still actually live, so that we can try to give some attention to those. We'll do the same things for these campaigns, for as long as they're running. And speaking of, Matta, when does Sacrimony end?
November 18th.
November 18th. All right. Damien, when does? Gotta check
13 days from now, November
13
12th.
days.
Or
November
11th.
12th. All right. Awesome. And finally, when is Found?
Our
wrapping
final
up?
week started today, actually. So
November 5th.
Okay.
yeah,
That's
November
over, yep.
5th.
we're just a few hundred away. So we've been
Have you guys been sleeping?
Barely.
but
It's been the worst sleep schedule lately.
Oh,
I'm
no.
just about setting alarms to refresh the app, just to
Yeah.
just to be aware, just to do something good.
Don't worry, you're close. Kickstarter math kicks in. Especially the final 48 hours. You guys are gonna make it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
y'all
worry
are
at all.
super close. Yeah, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, totally. Well, all right. If you want to hang with us, feel free. If not, no harm, no foul. I know it's late on the East Coast, and that's when people need to go to sleep. And on the West Coast, it's about time for people to eat. So if you're in the middle like me, it's late-ish, and I hope I'm not eating now because that would probably not be good. So, all
Oh, no.
right.
He just got off work at 10, so we are gonna go. But I'm gonna hop on and watch live still in the chat. So.
Oh,
All right,
yay.
well, awesome.
Alrighty.
Well, hey, thanks for being on.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank
having
Great
us.
talking to you guys.
Thank you,
It was nice
guys.
to meet everyone.
I'm gonna hop off too. I've been up since 4:30 a.m. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Yeah, get
Cool.
out of here. What are you even doing here?
Thank you.
Good.
I
4:30
appreciate the help,
a.m.
you guys. Thank you
Oh,
for
no problem.
having me on. Thank
Great
you.
meeting you.
Thanks. Yep. Nice
Bye.
meeting everyone. Thanks.
All
you
right.
in a minute.
All right. So
All
what do we
right.
got here? I only know of
What
two
have we got?
campaigns, but I know
Okay.
there's a Gage and the Dragons tier because
Well, let's talk about that one.
all right.
Gage and the Dragons tier, issue numbers 1 through 4. All right.
Yes.
Go
Amazing
for it.
artwork, incredibly dynamic, and it has my favorite type of main character, which is someone who kills people and steals shit for a living. I highly
Nice.
recommend it.
Perfect. We also have No Spell Lasts Forever.
Oh yeah,
Find that one real quick.
it's a noir urban fantasy comic about a woman who died and made a deal with the devil that she can get her life back if she corrupts a pure person.
And I believe it ends on November 3rd, so it's only got about it's on its last week, I would guess.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I can
so.
check because I
Okay.
know this. Let's check and see.
All right.
5
and then
days to go. Oh my goodness.
5
Well,
days. All right.
she's killing it with funding too. Amazing.
Yep.
Go Sarah.
Yeah, go Sarah. That's right. Go Sarah. Next up, I've got surprise. Sorry. Four Secret Comics by J.M. DeMatteis, which is a pretty amazing campaign with some veteran artists doing some amazing work. I seem to use using the word amazing a lot.
I mean,
recently,
there's
but-
a lot of amazing things out there, and it's amazing.
Exactly.
So
It's amazing. So we're just
It
going to use that word.
absolutely.
It's 4 separate projects with each with a different artist from Spellbound Comics. The backers are going to back. If you back one, you can back individual issues. You can back all 4, or you can back a collection of them. But the backers that back all 4 will then get to vote to see which series is going to get a full 5-issue series treatment. So it's pretty cool.
There's a little competition in there, huh?
There's a little competition
Little
there, and it's
competition, I
by
like
J.M. DeMatteis, who is a veteran writer who's written so many great stories over the years for Marvel and DC and other independents. So yeah, definitely check that one out.
Very cool.
Let's see. That one's going to be next week. Cobalt's Castaways, short stories about cats for kids. And I think I've got that one. I've got that one somewhere. It's a Cat Scratch Press. So that
Nice.
is more, I think, an illustrated kind of book for kids that has lots of different adventures of cats. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, I think she
It's
said there was like 20 short stories or something in there.
yeah,
So
there's quite a few. Yeah, it's a good looking book. So definitely give that one a look. We did that one. Oh, Decay by Anthony Stokes and team.
yep.
Number 3 is out. It's how did he describe that?
It was something, it's kind of like a Frankenstein-esque type thing
That's
where
right. Yep.
yeah, a man dies, his sister brings him back to life, and like for better or worse, he wants revenge against the guys who killed him and his friend.
Yep.
And yeah,
So
it seems like this seems like it's going to be a good part of the story where like the
and
sister
it looks
probably realizes that like, oh shit, I made a mistake.
yeah, and the subtitle looks like for this one is All I Know Is Pain. So maybe don't go in expecting, rainbows and unicorns and
I mean,
butterflies and
that's
things.
also relatable. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
all I know is pain. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait till you're over 40. Let me tell
I'm
you.
getting there. I'm getting there.
All right. Let's see. So we've got that one. So let's see, Gage. All right, that's it for the projects that have been on the show. But we have some friends that are kickstarting that have some live Kickstarter projects now. Uh, for instance, Moana is doing her journey to, and I'm sorry, Moana, I apologize. I know I'm going to butcher this.
Is it Ikua?
You can,
Is
I
it?
think so, yeah, Ikua.
I
But
can double check.
if I mispronounced it, Moana, you have my permission to come yell at me anytime you want.
You can also yell at me if I butchered it. I think it's Ikua or Ikua. I apologize, but I tried.
But it's an all ages fantasy hardcover. I think it's based in the same adventures of, let's see, no,
Nakoa Nohea. I probably
Nohea,
also
yeah,
butchered that.
yeah. So
But the art
it's
is so good. Like people
yes,
should be backing this. I don't like it needs some help. Like
hmm
seriously. It needs more
definitely,
people in here.
yeah, definitely. Go take a look at that one, and I need to put it on the screen so you know where it is. Where is it? I don't have it on the screen. So you know what? I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna put it on the
Oh,
screen. So
I was
there.
gonna copy and paste it and send it to you, but you got it?
I got it. There we go. You
Excellent.
can see how, aren't we so professional?
We
There
really
we
are.
go.
We're doing good. We're good.
All right, and then Harpy of the West by Rio Burton is a kind of a gothic look at the West, and it's got some gorgeous art. Rio Burton's a really amazing artist. There, I use that word again. And if we want to take a look at it, you can go here. I believe it has, let's see.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's
Hmm.
it's got about let's see 12 days left, I think, on it. So definitely give that one a look. Our pal Frank Martin has The Polar Paradox, Equator's End, #1 of a 2-part. It's actually kind of an interesting thing for Frank because he usually does single issues or kind of the max double issues. And this is a 2-issue sequel to The Polar Paradox. So he's actually doing what's amounting to a 4-issue series, which is kind of a stretch for him. So it's it's good stuff. Frank's a great writer, and
He's also
you'll
like
never be
super
disappointed.
prolific, right? Like he's
I
always
know,
doing a Kickstarter like every month. I feel like I always see something by Frank Martin. Unless
I
there's
know.
multiple Frank Martins. I don't know. Or maybe he
I
cloned himself.
I think he cloned himself. I really do think he cloned himself. So Frank, give me the secret so that I can actually get more than one issue of my series out a year. I would really love some help with that.
I would also like to clone myself so one can actually write and the other can art. That'd be great.
Oh, well, then I can only imagine the writer yelling at the artist and the artist yelling at the writer. That would be really kind of awkward, wouldn't
Oh, it'd be fun. There'd be so much cursing.
it?
Probably not
All
for
right.
the artist or writer, but for onlookers. Or it
For
might be a little
onlooker.
awkward.
All right. I've got let's see, one thing left. Oh yeah, that guy.
That
The
guy. Oh, I know
game,
that guy.
the game. Charlie Stickney is back on Kickstarter because you know
Because he's
what?
Charlie Stickney. He's Mr.
Because
Kickstarter now.
he is Mr. Kickstarter, and he's got the game, which is a sci-fi comic. Number one came out, I think, last year. I think it was last year. And this is actually issues 2 and 3. It's got some great art by Connor Hughes. I mean, Connor Hughes. It's pretty much the same team from White Ash, although I think they're using.
They have a different colorist. I know
They have a
that.
different color. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not Finn. It's not Finn. So, but it's more of a sci-fi bent as opposed to White Ash, which has got more of a fantasy aspect to it. So, definitely take a look at it. And I think that's all I've got, except I did want to shout out that Sharp Wit and the Company of Women funded,
Yes.
and congratulations to everybody over there. That's going to be a great looking book. The Color of Always is a great looking book, and this is by the same editorial team. So
Oh, cool.
definitely congrats to them. And you know, even though I'm continuously jealous of Clay Adams because he's Clay Adams,
Right.
congrats Clay Adams and Mick Byers on Dream Quest. That funded, I believe, yesterday or the day before.
It might have been the day before. Yeah, because I think I had checked it earlier in the week and it's like, oh man, there's only 3 days left on that, and they absolutely killed it because
Oh
it's
yeah,
what Clay Adams
absolutely.
does.
They do. They just that's the way he rolls, man.
Yep.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
Same.
So I think that is about it. Hey, how's Sacramento going?
It's going good. It's going good. I wonder.
I'm
Oh,
curious. So you know we've got some time unless you
sure.
need to go.
No, I'm good.
So I know when I'm writing a script, I describe the panels. I don't describe layouts, and unless there's something very specific, some specific effect that I'm going for, and it's still, hey, if you can do it better, you know, no problem. And I know we've probably talked about this, but as someone who is a unicorn who does all of this stuff, jealous. I'm very jealous. I'm jealous of you and Clay now. Dang it.
Aw.
All right. Anyway,
I just need to start pulling in Clay Adams numbers. Damn it. Someday.
how do you go full script? Do you only do plot, or are you doing like layouts first and then scripting after your layouts? What's the because you know, as a writer, it's words first for me. It's always words first. I see this picture and I try to describe it. But
Mm.
for you who can skip so many steps, you know, in the middle, how do you approach your script, and then how do you approach an individual page?
It's a lot of fuck around and find out for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think about the dialogue first because Sacrimony is very like character driven and dialogue driven, so I don't have to worry about like, oh, how's this action scene gonna look? I'm gonna have to like script out this fight or whatever. So I do the straight dialogue first, and I try to fit it on the page. Like, see, I know you guys talked about page turns before, so
Yeah.
you know, like, see what I can put like at the bottom corner to make somebody want to turn the page, or at least to make them feel like each page encompasses like a specific thought. So
Mhm.
once I get that down, I start doing the thumbnails and trying to find out like what do I need to draw to actually make this happen.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, shit, I need to edit the script and take out a bunch of shit. It's like a whole process. So yeah, it's mostly just working around the dialogue itself. Like I'm it's ironic because I'm not the kind of person who can actually envision the scene and be like, all right, let me try to get it onto paper. Like most of the time I don't know what's gonna happen until I actually put my pencil on the paper to draw. And I feel
Cool.
like it's kind of an advantage in the way that I'm not like married to a particular idea already. Like, oh well, I saw this in my head. This is what I have to do. Like I can just
Mm.
like feel it out. Even with the dialogue and stuff, I'm very loose at first with what I want to put, and then it's like as I'm going, I kind of feel it out and like edit myself and try to see like, all right, what needs to be done to make this good. It's not what I want; it's what the story wants. If
Brilliant.
that makes sense. Or I could be a crazy person.
Or Why not both, right?
¿Por qué no los dos? But yeah, it's always thinking about like what does the story want and what do the characters need versus like what do I want to happen.
Well, and I really like that, you mentioned this, I don't know what's necessarily is going to happen on this page. And from a writing standpoint, I kind of like that too, because, I'll get some interaction with characters that, I would not have, I didn't plan. It's just like, oh, this kind of makes sense here,
Aren't
or
they the best?
yeah, it's awesome. It's totally
You always
awesome.
get the best moments like serendipitously.
hmm It's like, oh, this character's a hugger. Where the hell did that come from? I don't know.
And it works. It just
And
works. And then
it
you have this now you have this running thing from like a spur of the moment idea. It's like, all right,
Yeah,
well, there's just always going to be a hugger.
yeah, and then we can make it awkward over here, and then we can,
Right? I love moments like that actually. Like it's very it feels organic. Like as a reader reading those things and like, seeing awkward reactions to hugs and it's just like, "Oh my god, they put that in. I love this so much." Like
absolutely.
I love character quirks, I got to say.
hmm Very cool. Well, is there anything that's going on that you want to chat about, or have we reached the end of the I guess the fuckery for this week? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, the only other thing is that like, oh my god, I got another cat off the
Oh,
streets.
okay.
Just free cats everywhere.
I saw that. I saw that
Yeah,
on
it's
Twitter.
he's like a mini muffin. Like I got a like exactly like on October 28th of last year, Muffin walked into my house and it's just like, all right, I have a cat now. And then like now I got like another orange cat that's like like a miniature clone of him. So
Nice.
like right around this time, like I guess I just be picking up cats in late October, I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note and so that I can check in with you next October and find out, if your cat menagerie has grown.
I hope not. They're expensive to take care of, I gotta say, but I love them. They're adorable. Another one might walk in, who knows? And
Who
specifically an
knows?
orange cat.
Oh, orange. It's got to be orange, right? Black and orange, is that?
Yeah, orange and white, like
Yeah. Oh,
little white socks and mittens.
here's a comment from Shawnee. There you go. You get a cat. You get a cat. And you get a
Yeah,
cat.
Shawnee,
Just for
no
you.
joke. Everyone on my block has at least 2 to 4 cats. Like our cat collecting game is way strong because there's so many strays and people don't want them, especially around this time when it's getting cold. It's like, you know what? Just take them all inside and they're your cats now.
Forever. They
Forever.
found a
Yeah.
forever home. Yeah.
Yep.
But you're right. This little guy back here has been somewhat expensive because he's eaten a couple of rocks.
Oh no. Oh
That's
no.
that got expensive. He hasn't done it in a long time, and I hope he
Oh
never
good.
does it again. But
Was it like a puppy thing when he was like really little, or was it just like a grown dog, like I don't know better kind of thing?
one of them was kind of an accident, because Stace was walking past him and she said something to him, and he looked up and it went.
Oh
And then
no.
we were able to get the basket and get that one out. So that one was
Oh good.
okay. And then I think it was maybe a year later, maybe he may have been about 2. He ate another rock, and we're like, he had to have surgery this time, which is
Oh my god, no. So he had to wear the cone of shame and everything until it healed. Oh, that's so
exactly.
sad. But cone dogs are also kind of cute in like a really
Yeah,
sad way, right? It's like, oh, you poor
exactly.
little bastard. Like, what did you do?
What did you do? But now he's just on sticks. Sticks. I can deal with sticks. He likes to. We tell him it's funny. He's smart. He's really smart. So
I like how that's in quotes.
he thinks he's smarter than he is. But
Okay.
so he has like his these bones that we've bought him, or he likes to collect socks from around the house. So he'll take this stuff
Oh,
in his mouth, and we call it going on a bone tour. And
nice.
he'll walk around the house with it, and then he's got to go outside. And when he goes outside, it's like, I have stuff in my mouth. If I get a stick that's this long and put it in my mouth with all that other stuff, they'll never know I have a stick.
He might have been a hamster in his past life.
So he'll come back to the door, and I'll be squatting down there in the door, going, Otis, buddy, that's a stick. I see it. You can't bring the stick in the house. And he'll like, I'm gonna set it down. So he'll set it down, and then he'll pick up his stuff again that he had in his mouth. Then he'll pick up the stick again. He's like, he doesn't see it. I know he doesn't see it. I'm like,
My God.
dude, it's still in your mouth. Give me the stick. I will leave it outside. You can have it tomorrow. And finally he'll go, and you can hear it. He'll go, he just sighs like that. It's like,
Aw, he gave
he's
up.
like, yeah, well, it's like, these stupid apes. Damn it, I hate these apes. They're so annoying.
Telling me where I can't put my sticks. How dare they? How
I
dare?
know, exactly. Oh, and here we go. We've got a comment from Porter's Jones.
Yeah, I
Well,
was
thank
just
you.
about to remark about that. Like, it's so regal.
So the boys, so my sons, got it for my wife Stacy for her birthday, I think a couple years ago. So what you can go on there's this website. If you have a picture of your dog, they'll do a painting based on a pose. And funny enough, this is the ambassador pose, and he's a basset hound, so we call it the ambassador. It's because I love a
Oh,
pun.
that's so good. I love puns.
And so they got it for her, and I'm like, if people don't want to look at me, they can look at something cool, behind
Fair.
me. And they always ask about it. Like, yeah, that's Otis. He's our basset hound.
Oh my God, that
Who-
a
hey,
whole
hey,
box of
it's
crayons,
a
rubber
bunch of
bands.
rubber bands, and yes, rocks. Wow.
All right, Shawnee, I need to know, like, the crayons are supposedly non-toxic. So, like, what had to be done there, if anything?
I just imagine rainbow poop. I
Right?
went there.
That's also what I'm thinking. Like,
Rubber bands would be dangerous.
yes,
I would think
absolutely.
very dangerous. But all right. So enough digression about my very expressive basset hound, I guess. I guess thanks for being here, totally, Kevin Joseph. And
Oh, no problem.
yes,
Honestly, if oh, sorry, continue. I
rainbow
cut you.
poop it was.
Oh, nice. Also
Thanks,
gross,
John.
but also nice.
Yes.
Thank you for answering that. I wouldn't have been able to sleep tonight if you didn't answer it.
Exactly. And thank you so much for being here in place of Kevin. I appreciate it, and it's always fun
Yeah,
chatting
no
with you.
problem. I mean, I was gonna say, like, if anyone has to step out and they need like someone to co-host or whatever, I'm happy to step in. Like, I've done this
Awesome.
before.
Cool, very cool. I will definitely let Kevin know that.
Yay.
And thanks, Shawnee.
Aw.
And you have an awesome weekend too.
Yes, have an awesome weekend.
All right, I
Have an
think
amazing
that's it.
weekend.
Amazing, because that's the
Yes.
word I'm using like today, apparently. So everyone have a great and amazing weekend, and I think that's it for us. So
That
thanks for
is.
tuning in, and
Thanks, y'all.
we'll see you next week. Thanks again. Bye, everyone.
Night.